Welcome back to the vlog, guys. Guess what? I've got a new lens. How much of the room can you see now? This is so much better, right? I just invested in a new lens because I kept being like this all the time, even with like a full arm's length. But now look, I mean, I'm not even sort of stretching and we can see absolutely everything. How good does it all look? Oh, sorry for getting dizzy. So in all the recent vlogs, guys, we have been mainly focusing on this aquarium. This is the ecosystem aquarium. Last video, we added all the fish, well, the first set of fish, that is, cleanup crew and endlers. There we go, they're all collected in the middle here for some reason. There's some kind of party going on. Anyway, so because of this, a few of my other tanks have been let go or not looked after as well as they should be. No problem for the fish, obviously, but for instance, the apistogramma tank, there's quite a lot of algae. It can all be trimmed off quite easily. A nice big water change. Hello, mate. Oh, whoa, sorry, calm. Just stay calm, you beautiful... Oh, I can't even show you off because of this sort of dust algae all over the glass. It's very strange. The plants are doing great though, look.
Thought I'd still be feeling the same as the beginning. Waste of time, waste of time. Somehow you intruded, lost in your illusions. I was fine, I was fine.
So there we go, as simple as that. The tank is looking fantastic again. A quick water change, clean the glass off, and you know, give a trim up to some of the worst looking algae infested plants. It wasn't too bad. A couple of bits of hair algae, but that'll be fixed now that the water's changed. I can add in a CO2 booster as well, which really helps with Fred algae and things like that, I find anyway. But something that is not so easily fixed, this tank, look at it. I mean, I can easily clean the glass, but there's so much algae everywhere, and that's because these little terrors, hello buddy, have dug up everything, and all that's done is just put a absolute ton of like nutrients constantly in the water column, which is stopping me from keeping it under control. So I think what I'm going to do with this one, guys, is just start it again. Many of you called it, many of you said that they will completely destroy all of your layers at the bottom, MD, and you were right, but I wasn't to know that. I've never kept these fish before, and I'd already designed escape. So this time I'll do it, and I think I'm just going to stick to epiphyte plants, and they're not required to have like an active substrate, and then they can dig it up to their heart's content. Like I say, I want to make something that's suitable for these particular fish, the kribensis, and not just a pretty looking aquascape. And you know what, I am now really getting into the more sort of natural looking aquascapes. Are they aquascapes if they're natural looking? I don't know, I guess. Biotope is what the people usually use to describe these, but I don't want to do like... What that means is that you use materials, and everything inside the tank is from wherever the fish are from. So like the rocks, the substrate, the plants, everything. It's really, really hard to do because, you know, there's so many variations. Anyway, it's too complicated to go full biotope, so I like to do sort of similar, you know, use plants that look similar to what they would find in their natural habitat. You know, quite often plants from around the world can mimic plants from other areas, and they don't look too differently to the untrained eye. I'm an untrained eye. Most of you probably are as well. So yeah, that's definitely going to be the next build video, because this is the only tank. Actually no, I've got 2 tanks out of all of my tanks, 49 tanks, that look bad at the moment. The other one is over there. So I have been fighting a losing battle with this tank for a long time. It's just because there is so many places for waste to sort of settle that can't be cleaned out. Now, big fish like discus, they poop a lot and you have to feed them a lot, which means it's not like a normal tank where, you know, the plants will use up all the nutrients. Combine that with the fact that I don't have a proper substrate, a load of plants pulling nutrients from that substrate as well. So basically it's just a constant ticking bomb of nutrients ready to produce what you see here. Now granted, this is for not doing a water change for over a week now, but you know, that's what happens. All my other tanks I could just leave for a long time. This is going to be the next tank I change. I'm going to be doing something really, really cool for the discus, full on planted, tons and tons of plants, but trying to keep it sort of real naturalistic looking. The wood's coming out as well. I want to take the wood out. I want to keep it really minimal, but tons of plants, which means that there's loads of swim room for the fish, because obviously they can go in and amongst the plants quite easily. I'll keep a lot of short ones as well, but it should look absolutely amazing when we're done. I think I'm going to do it as a series like I normally do, because it just means we don't have to rush it, and also it does mean that we get those after shots later on. Let's face it, the tank doesn't look at its prime until about 2 or 3 months after you've like planted it all and it's settled right in. Let's face it, discus are the hardest to keep in terms of planted tanks, but I've got to have that, haven't I? I've got to have the easy and I've got to have the hardest as well, and I really, really want to succeed, so I can't give up. To be honest, in my opinion, what I've set up behind me is probably the worst thing I could have done. You know, all those gaps in between the two islands that you can kind of get out of the way, kind of see. I can't get in there to clean them, and there's always waste there. The only way to do it would be to like take the whole thing apart, which, you know, is not practical every week, is it? So that's why I want to completely change it, set it up to something that I can manage and will also do more of the work itself. That's what I love doing with the planted tanks, isn't it? You guys know that. Get the sort of plants to do the work. There we go, guys, kind of back to looking half decent again. That's not the issue. I can get it back to looking good. The problem is it goes back in like a week's time to just as bad. Now that's even with me using chemicals to stop the cyanobacteria. Obviously, if you're not fixing the cause, then the chemicals will work to clear it, but it's just going to come back. That's what's happening. Now I've reduced the lighting height, you know, or increased the height of this tank and the lighting photo period. This tank only has 8 hours light, which is way lower than all my other tanks. So if it's not the lighting that's the problem, it can only really be one other thing, and that is waste getting stuck and the flow. And the flow, that's two things. It says one thing and then instantly says two. So yeah, all down in this section, as I was cleaning it, you could just see so much waste coming up from the inside, and there must be so much more in there. You know, the moss isn't helping with the flow in those areas. Waste getting trapped in flow will cause cyanobacteria. Simple as that. So only one thing to do, take it all out and start again, which is fun for me anyway, so I love doing that. Hello guys, just have a little look at the discus as well. Look at him just staring at me. They'll huddle down there for a few minutes, they'll be fine, you know, give it 10-15 minutes, they'll be back out again, just the water's literally just, you know, filled up. Right, moving back over to the KRIB tank, guys. So this is destroyed because this isn't the only area they've actually dug up. All behind, I've been and had a look as well. I can't show you, hello. Look how good they look though. The fish are absolutely amazing. See, she's made this little cave underneath that she stays in, and he seems to sort of go out and come back in as well. It's really cool to see. Let me just clean up this front glass. It'll make a mess, but it's worth it because I think it will show the whole section a bit better. Right, there we go, that's cleared it up nicely. So yeah, she is, she's ducking away now. But she's gone right inside of there. Are you going to show us? I mean, it'd be cool if we could see some kind of fish or something, wouldn't it? Like, if they'd like setting up a little hide so they can start spawning. Now, it would be a shame to sort of break that apart, but I think it would be worth it so that I can make something so much better for them to be able to reproduce in as well. I mean, I now know how to make a cave structure, and I know what they like. Basically, just pile some rocks up on top of some gravel, and they'll make their own home, which is actually really cool, isn't it? With regards to the bloodfin tetra, as soon as I come near the tank, they're very shy, but they are actually the sort of fish that come out everywhere. They're all over the tank, to be fair. It's just that they're very shy. I don't know why. They're still not accustomed to me and feeding, which is the longest it's ever taken me of any fish, to be honest. Now, personally, I do feel... Oh, you see that then? she was seeing off that Otto, which means she's probably protecting that area, already setting up a home. It does seem a shame to sort of disturb them, but at the same time, I'm really not enjoying looking at this. Maybe I should just leave it. Do you think I should leave it? I'll leave it up to you guys. Should I rescape this so it's something more suitable for the cribs? Am I being silly? I think I'm being silly. Maybe I can just leave it and try and sort this algae out. The problem is there's too many nutrients for the amount of light. That's because they are kicking up nutrients constantly. So I suppose if I do a ton of water changes and reduce the lighting, we should clear the algae, which would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Right, let's go for that. I'm not going to change it yet, just because it looks like there's some activity going on down here now. That's the first time I've actually seen the female sort of acting aggressive towards other fish coming into her new territory. It's a really cool little sort of setup they've made there. A nice little cave. I'm not going to break it down just yet. I think it would be really cool to watch the fish for a while. Let's try and cure this algae on its own. I don't think I can, but I can try my best, because my fear is that as soon as I sort of fix it, they're going to kick up a load more nutrients again and we're back to square one. But it's worth a try, isn't it? I think it's worth a try. So I think that sometimes we worry about the algae more than is necessary. This is one of those instances where I'm just freaking out because it's like, it's the worst start I've ever had to any tank, but then it's a new fish to me. So, you know, it can't be perfect all the time. And there's me thinking, oh, let's just break it down, start again. But actually the fish are settling in really well. It'd be a shame to disrupt anything that could be happening. So I think it's the right decision to leave it. I did start this video thinking this will be my announcement and reason for why I'm breaking it down. But, you know, this time I think the interest of the fish, and just for like general interestingness, I think it'll be a really good idea just to leave it and just see what happens. If they don't spawn in that little cave, then I will redo it, because I'm pretty sure we're going to get a continuous problem here. Hopefully I can, you know, get on top of it by reducing that lighting. Remember, algae is always nutrients and lighting. That's what will cause it. If it's one or the other or both. In this instance, it's probably both. But when it comes to the discus aquarium, that is screwed. That needs changing fully. I mean, the amount of times the problems arose again, it's just screaming at you that something's not right. So that will be the next thing we work on. The discus aquarium, fully planted, swords, I'm talking like carpet, the lot. Let's go for it. Let's go to town, tons of plants. It's gonna look so, so good. As always, guys, if you've enjoyed this video, hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos, and I will see you on the next one.